Wait a minute, Wells Fargo is racist? I want to thank Noble Gold for sponsoring today's video. Most Americans don't own sound money. Sound money is defined by the Constitution as gold and silver. It's been accepted as sound money for over 5,000 years. And even though it's been artificially suppressed by the international banking cartel, it was the best performing investment class for 2022. In that year, the S&P was down 20%, the Dow was down 10%, and Bitcoin was down over 65%. Gold and silver outperformed them all. Open a gold or silver IRA with Noble Gold Investments this month and get this quarter-ounce American Gold Eagle for free with every qualified IRA of $50K or more. With thousands of 5-star reviews, there's a lot of happy people who are glad they went with Noble Gold. Check them out with my link in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, back to today's video. Yeah, you heard that right. Wells Fargo may well be racist, and I don't see how you can cut it any other way. And if you think I'm wrong, I want to hear it in the comments below. Wells Fargo, and this is from the New York Post, is cutting back on mortgages and will focus on lending to not this, but minorities. Wells Fargo, whatever happened to judge a man by the content of his character and not by the color of his skin, Wells Fargo? Once a #1 player in lending out mortgages, announced it will take a step back from its previous goal of reaching as many Americans as possible. Instead, it will now focus on home loans for existing bank and wealth management customers and borrowers in minority communities. And just in case you think it's a joke, there's a lot of people weighing in on Twitter. Mr. Eagleman here said, "I will be closing my Wells Fargo checking, saving, and brokerage accounts on Tuesday. Ask me why, I'll be glad to tell you." What's interesting is that Wells Fargo actually weighed in and got heavily ratioed. "Hi, Gunther. May I ask the reason why you wish to close your account with us? Don't mention account numbers, Ronnie. Check out this ratio, 37.3 thousand impressions and only 61 likes. Mr. Eagleman replies, "Ronnie, it's simple. I'm white and prefer not to do business with companies who don't want my business because of my skin color." Now, just imagine if Wells Fargo or any other lending institution said instead of minorities, we're only going to service the accounts of white people. People would lose their freaking minds. It would be on fake stream, CIA infiltrated, Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for months, if not years. But nobody's losing their minds over this because, we're just talking about, it's just the white people. I closed mine 2 years ago when they reported gun purchases to the government. That is just absolutely ridiculous. By the way, Tucker Carlson weighs in on this, and we'll play the snippet in a second. "It's because you literally said you don't want white people's business. I'm not dumb enough to bank with you in the first place. I learned that lesson. Should have done that years ago. They were one of the biggest crooks in banking next to Chase. Get woke, go broke." And I really hope that's what happens. But then what happens? Then there's a consolidation of power. And it's not like all the same entities don't own Wells Fargo and Chase Manhattan and Bank of America and Arvest and all these banks. Lawsuit after lawsuit, and now not giving white people loans. They're a joke. I am too. Just a nightmare to do on my business accounts, but I've had enough too. I'll be closing all my accounts, says this guy right here. Now listen to what Tucker Carlson reports on this.
So Wells Fargo used to be the biggest mortgage lender in the United States. Now they're downsizing. Instead of offering mortgages to everyone, they're going to focus instead on giving mortgages to, quote, individuals and families in minority communities. In other words, not lending money to white people. Is that illegal? The journalist and filmmaker Chris Rufo has been on this story. We should tell you that Governor DeSantis of Florida has appointed Rufo to the board of trustees at the new College of Florida in an effort to end the ideological rot there.
And I hate bringing it over into the category of legal versus illegal. You can say whatever you want to. You can conduct your business the way you want to. You know, it's like those bakers in Colorado where they didn't want to bake that cake for that couple. You can do that if you want to. It's not the government's business to get involved in that kind of equation. If you want to be racist, you can be racist. Nobody should censor you for that, but you will receive the fallout for your actions. You will receive the consequences. If people are on the side of the couple who didn't get a cake baked for them, then they're not going to shop with you again. Why would you cut off any clientele? Why would Wells Fargo do this? They're literally sending a message, and the outrage isn't universal when it should be. See, if it's against minorities, BLM and Antifa and everybody's on board with it, and there's this national outcry and all the fake stream media outlets are covering it, but when it's against white people, they're strangely silent. Why is that?
Chris Rufo joined.
So in other words, the reason I mentioned legality and illegality, the government should not be involved in this. It's none of the government's business if somebody's racist or not.
Now, Chris, thanks so much for coming on. This is another one of those stories that you feel like this has to be too far. Tell us what you know about it.
Well, what we're seeing is the emergence of two separate standards based on race and the disappearance of this idea that everyone should be treated equally under the law and then judged according to the behavior. I think it's important for conservatives to understand that these programs are not simply a hypocrisy or kind of two sides of a same standard.
For conservatives to understand, come on, see, I hate this playing the left versus right paradigm lie, because this feeds into the same kind of mentality where you've got this division, you've got this construct where everybody's against themselves while the oligarchs up here are going, oh man, everything's going according to plan. Everybody should understand this, whether you're liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, gay, straight, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be excluding people. It's wrong to exclude people. It's crummy, it's cruddy, it gets a violation of morality to be against people because of the color of their skin. You're actually displaying what kind of garbage individual and garbage institution you actually are.
They're actually entirely different standards. We're creating a moral basis based on identity that is seeking to supplant or replace a moral basis on behavior. And these companies are just following the lead of the academics, the universities, the activists on the left. And they're saying we're going to not judge people on their financial solvency or reliability. But
that's true. It is a left kind of thing. You don't see conservatives excluding people because of the color of their skin. You don't see them excluding people on the basis of their economic status. But you do see the left doing that, while the left at the same time goes, we need equality, but you got to exclude white people because they're the oppressors.
on the basis of a racial revenge narrative. And they're saying simply, we're going now to judge you on the basis of race. It's illegal, but in so many cases, they're getting away with it.
That's actually a good way to put that. Racial revenge narrative.
But I don't understand. I mean, redlining was the original sin, we've been told, for 50 years of the mortgage industry, right? Deciding we're not going to lend to areas because a certain race of people live in them. And that's exactly what Wells Fargo is doing. Why doesn't the federal government shut down Wells Fargo with armed agents tonight? I don't understand how this can happen. The
government is Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is the government. The people who own the banks are the same people who own the United States. By the way, Title 28, Section 3002, 15A, the United States means, quote, federal corporation. The United States is no longer a country. It's a company. It is a corporation. So this corporate interest was bought out by the banksters a long time ago, at least since 1913. Michelle Rothschild said, give me control over a nation's money and I care not who makes its laws. It doesn't matter who the congressmen are. It doesn't matter who the senators are. It doesn't matter who the governor or the president is. We control everything. We control the purse strings, so we control the time and laboring energies of the American people and the product thereof. So don't tell me this is the land of the free, home of the brave. It's not. It's land of the free, home of the slave. And every single one of us is a slave as long as we use the fiat currency Ponzi scheme system. So Wells Fargo is the United States. Corporations are the government. The government is corporations. Corporations couldn't exist without the blessing of the government. And corporations are decidedly against the people. Always have been, always will be.
Because, Tucker, this is the basis of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is not a simple colorblind equality represented in the 14th Amendment or the Civil Rights Act. It's an entirely new philosophy. It's based on critical race theory, and it's this idea that we should treat people differently based on race. And as long as we have the right racial hierarchy embedded in that philosophy, you can do essentially whatever you want. They're not doing anything different in the Biden administration because this is part and parcel of the ideology that they've adopted.
And what is the ethnic group that gets pushed under the rug, or more accurately, gets put under the foot of the other ones? It's basically the white people. The white people get shoved out of society. The white people get treated like they're the ones who are the oppressors. The white people get the boot on their necks. That's how they want it. That's how this is designed. You must be fair-skinned, straight, toxic adult male. Good for you. I applaud you, sir. It's because Wells Fargo, and by their own admission, basically hates whites and prefers other people to white people. I bank at a credit union, but Wells Fargo bought my mortgage, and now I have to pay those racists every month. And that's how can you construe this in any other way but that Wells Fargo is decidedly racist? And why would any business do this? Because corporations like this can do it, and they can get away with this because the people who own them are the ones who own the purse strings of the United States Corporation of America. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, if you want to support the channel, grab one of these hard-hitting conversation-starting designs. You can put on any shirt, hoodie, mug, cell phone case, whatever you want. Please give this video a like, share it with everybody you know, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon, and I will see you in the next heavily censored shadow ban video. While we have time and it still retains some of its perceived value, maybe it'd be a good idea to convert your worthless fiat into valuable, storable food. Don't be the one who waits till the food riots start happening. You don't want to be fighting panicking people in the store over that last jar of peanut butter. At Prepare with High Impact Flicks, you can get up to 3 air and watertight gasket-sealed ammo cans, each filled with a 4-week emergency supply. 7 food varieties, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each meal comes in a resealable, heavy-duty 4-layered pouch. And it's got a 25-year shelf life. Every order of a 4-week supply gets you $100 off plus free shipping. Here's how simple it is to make. I'm going to cook up some Granny's home-style potato soup. People are going to think I'm a culinary hero. You open the pouch, boil 4.5 cups of water, stir the contents, simmer on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes, take it off the heat, then let it set for 2 to 3 minutes before you serve it up.
Man, this stuff's so good. People are going to think Granny stopped by and filled your kitchen with a whole bunch of love.
Well, if Granny does stop by, she's going to fill your behind with a whole bunch of buckshot if you keep talking with your mouth full. Wipe your dang beard off. It's embarrassing. So maybe convert some of your worthless fiat into valuable food while you still can. Order now and get $100 off of up to 3 4-week emergency food supplies at preparewithhighimpactflix.com. The link is in the description.